this friend who graduated from college a few years ago. He got married. He and his wife got jobs. They started saving money so they could start a family. They met with a financial advisor and they invested some of their money to keep it safe and so that it could grow. Well, not too long ago, they found out they were pregnant. And so they contacted their financial advisor so they could access some of their money. But when they did, they found out their advisor had stolen all of their money. Almost their entire life savings gone. And just when they need it the most, now, the money's gone. That's really messed up. And I live in a pretty decent neighborhood, but I found out that not too long ago, 2 guys got stabbed to death just down the road. Only a couple miles from my house, right across the street from a McDonald's where I stop to get a McGriddle every now and then, 2 guys got killed. That is really messed up. And it's things like that, and my friend getting his money stolen, and so many other things that make me so surprised that people buy into the lie that it's all good. The people can look around the world and say, yeah, it's good, you're good, I'm good, the world is good, it's all good. But when I look around the world, sure, I see some good. I see the sun shining, I hear the birds chirping, but I also see all the crime and the poverty and the war and the pain and the suffering. And while there's some good, there's a lot of bad, and ultimately the world is kind of messed up. And then I talk to people all the time. I talk to students who tell me about their problems at home, problems with friends, problems at school, and I realize that people's individual lives are just as broken as the world. And so, I don't mean to depress you or just talk about how messed up the world is, but what I do want to do is look for answers to why the world is so jacked up. And so I want to look in our outside source. I want to look for our answer in the Bible. And the Bible has some really interesting things to say about why the world is so messed up. The Bible actually says that the reason the world is so broken is because at the foundational level, our relationship with God is broken. The Bible says the world is backwards because our relationship with God is backwards. And let me show you what I mean. I want to read to you just a quick passage here in the Bible. I hope you'll read line number 3 in the book, because I'm able to go through a lot more of this passage. But I just want to read one verse from the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 23. It says that mankind, that we have exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images resembling mortal man and birds and animals and creeping things. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, what the Bible says is that we were created by God, and that we were created to know God. But more than that, we were actually created to love God and to worship God. As our Creator, and we the creation, we were to worship Him, which literally means just to ascribe worth to Him, to value Him, and to thank Him, and that God was to be the most important thing, the most important one in our lives. But the Bible says instead of worshiping God, that mankind, that we have chosen to turn away from God and to replace God with fake gods. That's what this verse says. It says that we exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images. The Bible says that instead of worshiping God, we traded Him in. We swapped Him for fake gods. It says for images resembling mortal man and birds and animals and creeping things. So we literally traded in the Creator to worship creation. And you can see this if you just look at world history. You can see from the beginning of time, people have worshipped creation. I'm sure you've learned about the Greek and Roman gods, about Poseidon, the god of the sea, and Apollos, the god of the sun, and Zeus, the god of thunder and lightning. These gods of creation, not the true creator. And then, if you know anyone who's Hindu, you could ask them and they would tell you that within Hinduism there are over 300 million different gods. And Hindus actually won't eat beef because they believe the cow is sacred. They worship creation, the cow. And so maybe you're thinking, okay, this doesn't apply to me. I don't worship birds or the sea or cows or but the truth is, no matter who you are, there is something you value more than anything else. So there is something you worship. You do have a God. And my question to you would be, what is your God? Do you worship the God of friends? Maybe your friends are the most valuable thing in your life. And you love your friends more than anything else. You would do anything for your friends. What your friends say and what your friends do is the most important thing, that you would do anything to avoid losing your friends. If so, that's called worship. Maybe the most important thing to you is achievement, and you would do anything to win that next game, to win that next award, to make that next grade, that you would do anything to succeed because achievement is the most valuable thing to you. That's called worship. Maybe your fake God is experiences, and you would do anything for that next high, that next fix, and whatever it is, whether it's food or video games or sex or drugs or whatever, you just want that next experience. That experience is the most valuable thing to you. Maybe your fake God is celebrity, and you would do anything to be famous, or you would do anything to know famous people. What if your favorite musician or your favorite actor walked in the room right now? Would you be in awe? Well, that's called worship. And the list could go on and on, but the truth is, each and every one of us, the Bible says that we have chosen to turn away from the real God to worship fake gods. And I would say there's even another God that is probably that we all worship. This fake God underlies all the other gods, and that's the fake God of self. Each and every one of us value ourselves more than anything else. Think about it. When you get your school yearbook, what's the first thing you look for? A picture of yourself, because you value yourself the most. Why do you get so mad when people cut you off in traffic? It's because you worship yourself. We are all guilty of this. The Bible says we've betrayed the real God to worship these fake gods, and because of that, because we've gotten it so backwards, now the world is backwards. The world is messed up because we've messed everything up with God. Which means that if we want to fix our lives, if we want to fix the world, it has to start with getting rid of these fake gods and turning back to the real God. Which brings up a question: who is the real God? And we're going to answer that question with the next lie number 4.